All right, there we go. We are live. What up, what up? Oh, I'm on the wrong scene over here, you guys. There we go. That's the right one. How's everybody doing? Welcome in. Yo, what up, Richard? First one in. How's it going? Crap! Forgot to update the specs. See, this is why you need to be in here first all the time, Richard. Good Lord. It's okay, we can fix it quick. Why do I do this to myself? Forgot to update the specs. Don't worry, chat, I'm updating some specs because I forgot to update the command. Okay, specs are updated. Whew! Good thing it's a nice little budget build, so there's not that many specs. Okay, specs are updated, so if you try that again, it should be the right thing. Yo, what up, clones? How we doing? Yeah, those were the specs for the last build. These, the entirety of each of these systems costs less than a 5080. So it's a little bit different build than we did last time, not gonna lie. What up, good book? How we doing? Okay, so today we have not one, not two, but 3 PCs to build. They should each go pretty quick. We've got, these are nice little just like workstations, super simple, nothing crazy. They're literally gonna be running like browsers on them. So they don't really need a lot. We've got the Core Ultra 5 225s, got 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM, terabyte of storage, air cooler, little micro ATX motherboard from ASRock, 650 watt power supply, super overpowered for this, but you know, these are pretty cheap. These are like under $100. So wanted to get them a good quality power supply. It's gonna last a long time. And then we're throwing all this in the Fantex XTM3. And then we're just gonna start over. We're gonna start the second one. So hopefully y'all are excited to be here. And Richard, thank you for posting those. What up, Soul? How we doing? Okay, let's get started. Let's get started. Also, in case you guys didn't notice it, we are trying to go to CES this year in Las Vegas. If you guys don't know what CES is, that's where a lot of like the new technology for all of the various computer stuff is like shown off and released. And even a lot of prototype stuff you'll get to see there for the first time. So I really want to go to CES this year, and we're gonna try and film some content and just get to see, you know, what everybody's putting out this year. TikTok, I'm not trying to send anybody anywhere else. Stop giving me violation warnings when I'm not doing anything wrong. Bro, TikTok needs to chill. Richard, if you're still in the kick chat, can you get rid of that guy? Okay, nothing under there. Cool. It's the beginning of January, so it's the 6th through the 9th. And luckily, Vegas is not that far away from me, so I'm probably going to be able to drive there. And if all goes according to plan, my new camera guy will come with me, and so he'll be able to shoot everything. It should make like filming the content a lot easier. Yo, what up, Jay Purdue? Not just one build. We got 3 builds today. It's gonna be a great day. I have Mahmood. Every time I play games, he cleans me up. We know why I only have him. What are you talking about, Good Book? Yeah, these are great. We got 3 little nice budget-friendly workstation systems today that we're doing. Oops. Didn't mean to knock that off the edge. Ugh, there we go. Oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. Yeah, so January 6th through the 9th in Las Vegas at CES. So we're gonna try and raise money to go there. About to order a mouse and keyboard. Let's go. All right, CPU installed. Core Ultra 5 225. I believe this is just their 6-core processor, if I remember right. I think. I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't use Intel very often. Yeah, it doesn't say. I'm pretty sure it's just a 6-core. But that's plenty for what they're doing. Can the A620 feed the Ryzen 5 7500F with the power it needs? The A620? Possibly. The 7500F doesn't use a lot of power, but I would, if you're gonna build yourself a new system or upgrade your system, you know, at least get yourself like a B650 or a B850. Don't cheap out on the motherboard, man. It's just asking for problems. The motherboard is what transfers all the data around. It's like the nervous system for your PC. Are you getting, Purdue, are you getting those ones that I sent you, or are you getting something else? I mean, why waste the money on one motherboard just until you get another one? Because, you know, depending on how long you have it, you're not going to be able to just like send it back. PC parts do you recommend for optimum gooning? I don't even know what that means. You gotta remember, I'm old, you guys. I'm old, I don't know what gooning means. Come on. Here we go. 1 terabyte SSD installed. My one broke. I need a PC ASAP for work and don't have the budget for a better motherboard. Can you not do like a payment plan on it or something? That is the longest thread engagement for that tiny little screw. All right. SSD installed. Let's get our air cooler going here. Look at this air cooler, you guys. The fan is pre-installed. That's nice. That's real nice. And it seems like it's small enough that you can actually bolt it in even with the fan installed. Very convenient. Get our brackets on here. Oh, this is an Intel build. Gotta put the backplate on. This is what happens. I build so many AMD PCs that like when I get Intel, my brain freezes for a second. What up, MJ? How we doing? Get all of our little standoffs in there. Doing okay? What up? I don't know how to pronounce that name because it's all in Cyrillic? Is that what it's called? It's in a different language. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. What up, DGK? Death Ridge, what's up? I'm doing good. How are you? What do I call you? Because I can't read your name on there. What up, Casper? Good to see you. It's been a minute. Madi? Welcome in, Madi. Appreciate you joining the stream. Aviland, we're building a little workstation system. We actually got 3 of them to build tonight, so we're gonna be cranking through them. It's gonna be a little interesting because the customer actually doesn't want any RGB. So even though the case comes with RGB fans, we're just not gonna be connecting in the RGB on them. Okay, here we go. Do I have an electronics background? No, I don't. My background is mechanical engineering. A redneck PC gets bitches. What up, Ron Sky? Or do you go by Ronsky? Am I pronouncing that wrong? Good to see you too. Still rocking them blue light glasses. Love to hear that. Which is more difficult, mechanical or electrical engineering? I think it just totally depends on your, you know, what your shtick is. Like, for me, mechanical made much more sense, like with how my brain works and stuff. I found mechanical much easier, but I'm sure electrical engineers would say the opposite. So I think it kind of just depends on you. I had to take a couple of like electrical engineering courses in college, and the first one was pretty straightforward. I understood it. And then you start getting to like three-phase electricity and like transforms and stuff, and I was like, this ain't for me. Type in exclamation point specs, JFL. All right, got 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM going in. Yes, all three builds are the exact same specs. Got 3 systems going to for a business. All right, there's that. Let's get our case up here. So with this build, typically I wouldn't have to take the top off, but unfortunately, I have to take it off in order to get this little bolt out to take the rear side panel out. Like that. And same with the other side panel. What up, noobers? How we doing? Thermalright is nice, just ordered the Burst Assassin. Nice. Burst Assassin Visiona. I haven't actually heard of that one. They have so many models out, it's like impossible to keep track. I don't even know how like Thermalright reps keep track of all the models they have. Because I swear, every month they're releasing like 2 new models. It's crazy. Crazy. All right, micro ATX, micro. Cool. It's all set up already. Stick our motherboard in here. Okay. Got a nice little captive standoff. Very thoughtful of them. Vision has a 2.4-inch LCD. Oh, so is it an air cooler with a 2.4-inch LCD? I like that. I like that they've made some of these air coolers like feel, you know, a little more premium. Because in the past, air coolers, like besides like Noctua, air coolers always felt like a, you know, a very cheap option. And in the last like year or two, I feel like a few companies have started to make these air coolers that actually look cool and people would want to put in their systems, not just be forced to by costs. Can a motherboard be made to take either DDR4 or DDR5? No, they cannot. They can only be one or the other. DDR4 and DDR5 are physically different sizes. So physically you cannot swap them back and forth. Whether or not the like firmware software would even be able to handle it, physically you cannot swap back and forth. GT210 or RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell. I'm not super familiar with the Pro Series graphics cards. I know the 6000 Blackwell is supposed to be really good. The GT210 is pretty old now, isn't it? I thought that's a pretty budget Pro Series card. Had to ask a professional, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, we got all the bolts in there. Let's get them all tightened up. Oh wait, we didn't get all the bolts in there. My bad. You guys didn't see that. You didn't see that, okay? Okay, now all the bolts are in there. They're all tightened down. Get all these out of the way. Okay, there's that. And now we can get our power supply out here. Start getting some cables in it. What do you guys think? One's in chat if you think I should even use Lazy Susan on this tiny little build. Two's in chat if you don't think I should. What PC hardware do you recommend for etching? Don't know how to answer that. Did I make a big mistake by going with Intel i9 for gaming? Is it like a 14900K? Or is it like the new Core Ultra series? When your puny arms can't handle the load? Well, that's like a challenge now. Now I feel like I have to do it without it. 14900K. Just be careful because there's been some issues with those. I mean, I think the newer BIOSes now are good. But there were some problems with those getting burnt up. It's a very solid, very capable CPU. Yeah, you just gotta make sure that you update your BIOS and stuff so that you don't burn it up. Okay. Richard's calling me out for having tiny arms, so I guess we'll use our Lazy Susan today. Yeah, no problem, P. You got a sub. Oh, I got a sub. Thank you. I appreciate you subbing to the channel. Informative, entertaining, and oddly relaxing. I get that a lot. People are like, this is just like they enjoy just chilling here and watching me build computers. I'm glad you guys are here having fun. Thank you for the build. Got from Purple Haze a few months back. Hey, you're welcome, Kevin. That's so cool that we were able to do that giveaway through Haze, man. He's a cool dude. Very passionate gamer. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, you're right. Problem is I'm gonna have to take it back down after every build. And we've got 3. We've got 3 builds to do tonight. 3 of these puny little bits. All right, so all we need for power cables, motherboard, CPU, and that's it. You don't need anything else. There's no GPU going in. Shouldn't be any SATA power needed for this case. So it's just that. It's super simple. I get my CPU power cable in here before we start routing anything. Just like that. Run it to the back. Okay. All right. Now, got all this mess. So this guy is gonna sit up there because it's gonna plug into the power supply there. Okay. And like I said at the beginning, but some of you might not have been here, but this is a workstation for like a a business, and so they aren't looking for any RGB or anything. So even though we have RGB on these built-in fans, we're not going to be using them because they don't want the distraction of RGB. Crazy, right? Imagine how much faster QuickBooks would work with RGB. Come on. Come on. All right. So we've got a couple of fan headers here. Plug those guys in. Boom, just like that. Where's the rest of our front panel connectors in this thing? Oh, they're all hiding down there. They're all hiding behind this little cage. I think I might pull this off, and then we can pretty much hide a bunch of the cables behind it. All right, there's all of our front panel connectors. Let's get our USBs going. Stick those through. So USB 3 right there. USB-C right there. Boom, just like that. And then we'll probably run our motherboard power cable right through that. So let's do that right now. As long as that gap is big enough. Okay, it might not be big enough. Okay, it's not big enough. Fine. Just a little tight. Just a little tight. Okay, come on. You can fit through there, I promise. Okay. Your motherboard power cable in here. Boom. All right, got that. Just gotta pull this tight through there. It's gonna turn, go this way. I know I'm doing this way out of order how I normally build a PC, but you know, whatever. Whatever, as George W. would say. Whatever. Some of you might be too young to get that reference, that's okay. Or maybe you aren't from the US. Beautiful looking PC, thank you, thank you. What up, Wes? How we doing? Could you throw a GPU on that thing and use it for gaming? You could. I mean, it's not going to be the most, you know, incredible gaming system ever, but you definitely could do it. All right, front panel connectors in. Let's get our HD audio in all the way across. Across. There's that. All right, so everything that needs to go into the PC, like into the motherboard, is already plugged in. So we got all that done. So now, realistically, we just got to work on some cable management and get our power supply in, get that hooked up, and then literally this PC is already done. Like that's how fast this thing is going together. And unfortunately, it looks like we're gonna have to use zip ties on some of this. just because of the cable routing points. And there's nothing wrong with using zip ties. If I can avoid it, I will use cable ties instead, but it's okay. Best RTX for 2025? I mean, the 5090. If you're willing to spend the money on it, the 5090 is unequivocally the best. Install Manjaro. Is that a Linux? Is this good for playing games? This is not a gaming system. This does not have a discrete GPU. You would not want to try and play games on this. No. There's no GPU in here, Nintendo. This is a workstation system for a business. They ordered 3 of them. WoW is your favorite work? That would be pretty fun to do as a job, I would imagine. Okay. Got that in there. I'll probably do this in a little bit more organized way on the second build because this was not the smartest idea, but that's okay. What up, Minty? How we doing? How much does this cost? These systems were roughly like $900 a piece with like shipping and everything included. Okay, got that through there. Okay, got all that routed in there. Yeah, keep that up there for a minute. Honestly, we're not connecting the RGB anyways, so there's no need for those to stay connected. You can just tighten these up real nice. So, being a workstation system, they didn't want any RGB because they want it to, you know, not be a distraction or anything. So, even though this case comes with RGB fans, we're going to not connect in the RGB, just so there's no RGB to distract them. Okay, I think at this point, let's get the power supply in, and then we can do the rest of the cable management at the bottom there. So we've got just motherboard power and CPU power coming in here. Okay, so that's gonna go in like this. Ooh, tight fit. That is a tight fit. Gotta get past the CPU power cable. There we go. That's tight enough, it literally is holding itself in place. It's not even a bolt in it yet. I have an RTX 3050. It's upgraded it. Would like to know if the 3050 Ti, you mean the 3060 Ti? I mean, personally, unless you can get like a used 3060 Ti for like really cheap, you might as well get like a 9060 or a 40 or a 5060. Does the Antec C5 case with a Aorus Master 5080 a good match? I don't see why not. The Antec C5 is a good looking case, and so is the Aorus. I mean, you have to make sure that it fits, but it's a pretty big case, so I think it should fit just fine. Wow, that's tight. That is a tight corner for that power cable. It almost feels like they designed it for the power cable on here to be facing the other way or something, but should be fine. Okay, so we got all that. Now we can work on managing this stuff in here. Realistically, we can kind of just bundle together like that. It is really challenging to build a PC. Vinky, this is a workstation system, so there is no graphics card. There we go. Stick that back under there, like so. And we can throw one more right there, maybe. Would it be worth swapping my 4060 for a 3080 or 3090 if you can get one for cheap? Absolutely. That would be a big upgrade. Like if you can get them for cheap, then it's worth it. I mean, obviously those are, you know, getting to be older cards at this point, but they definitely will very much outperform what you have in your system today. Okay. Let's throw one more zip tie right there. And this guy is basically done. Vanji, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. What's going on here? We're building a little workstation system, Chris. Just a nice, cute little workstation. And there it is, folks. Build number one. Oh, wait, I got another zip tie up here. Build number one is done. Cool. Cool. Okay, so pretty decent looking cable management there. Front side, you know, it's a PC on the front. Could probably pull those a little tighter. I mean, not that anyone's gonna look at it because it's a workstation, but you know, just for the heck of it. There we go. All right, there it is. PC number 1, done. Let's button it up. Normally I would post it and show it off and chat with you guys for a while, but we've got 2 more PCs to build. So we gotta keep cranking. Why does that feel like it's cross-threaded? Because it was. I have H21 or 31, I don't remember motherboard, or i5 2nd gen. I don't even know what you should, on an i5 2nd gen? Bro, I have no idea. Just wanted to say hi. I built my first PC the other day and used your videos to figure out what to do. Hey, that's awesome. How'd it go? Okay. There's that. Top panel back on. And there it is, folks. That's 1 PC down. Super easy, super quick. Gotta find a spot for it over here, set it down so I can start working on the next one. Went great, everything worked second try. Hey, let's go. Love to hear that. PCs from 2013. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to suggest to put with a system that's that old, you know? You know, advice to update PCI 3.0 with the AMD Radeon R9 390, 3900X. You have a Ryzen 5, not sure what generation, someone threw it away and I grabbed it and brought it home, been restoring it, it's running bad. I don't know, you might have to drop that in the Discord so I have time to like look it up. Because off the top of my head, I don't have anything for you, but if I have more time to look at it, or I can do some Googling, I could probably find you something. All right, PC number 1 is done, folks. $44 minutes, not too shabby. The second one should go even faster, hopefully. All right. Let me go get the second case, get it out of the box. Probably thinking, why didn't you get it out of the box before stream? Because I didn't feel like it, okay? Didn't feel like it. Mostly because it only takes like 20 seconds. Yeah. Okay. That one's out of the box. All right, let's start on second system. Is my monitor dying? Oh, sorry. Yes, I got issue. The monitor is giving the red, blue, and green. The whole screen after something? Yeah, that does sound like a graphics card issue. Guys, my recycle bin is only really big enough for one PC build worth, so this is going to be interesting. All right. Also, as a reminder, now that there's more people here, I'm trying to go to CES this year and film some content for you guys. So if you're interested, we are trying to raise money to send me to CES. So that's what that little bar is at the bottom. Trying to raise $1,000 to send me and my camera guy down to Vegas to do a bunch of content at CES. So if you feel so inclined, don't feel like you're forced to, but if you do feel so inclined, we would love to have you guys help send me there. This has no GPU. This is a workstation system, so just using CPU graphics. All right. Intel i5 225. And by i5, I mean Core Ultra 5 because, you know, Intel changed their naming scheme, and I'm never going to keep up with it. It's like calling X Twitter. So probably more egregious as a PC builder to call it the Core i5. All right. Nope, not even a workstation GPU. I mean, like, all these guys are using are like web browsers and stuff, QuickBooks, that sort of stuff. So there's really no need for any sort of GPU. They just literally need it to be able to output to the monitor. All right, another 1 terabyte SSD going in. Hold on one second. Okay, seeing 3080 Ti for $370. That's not bad. You know, assuming it still works and works well. What are my personal PC specs? My gaming PC, I have a 9600X and a 4070 Ti Super. It's all custom water cooled and all that fun stuff. And then my stream PC is a 12700K with a 3070 and some like super expensive capture cards. This looks like Acer's gaming line of motherboards. This is an ASRock. I mean, this is, yeah, this motherboard could easily be for gaming. Switched out my PC from 8700K and 2070 Super to a 7800X 3D and 5070, which will probably be the first thing I have to upgrade. I don't know. Those are pretty well balanced. They're both pretty well balanced for CPU and GPU, so I would say probably around the same time. Yours looks a lot like that. Yeah, this is the ASRock Pro series. I mean, these are definitely capable for gaming. We just won't be gaming, or well, the customer won't be gaming on this one. that block under the RAM ports is the onboard GPU. No, this is the chipset. So the integrated GPU is built into the CPU itself. Huge difference between my new PC compared. Oh yeah, your new PC is like a decade newer than your old one. The A700K is an old CPU at this point. Hoping to get at least 3 to 4 years out of it. I think you can at least get 3 to 4 years out of that system. 7800X 3D is no slouch, and neither is the 5070. Yes, your CPU has to have built-in graphics in order to be able to output without a GPU. The way to know, so Intel and I guess Ryzen or AMD has started doing it now too. If you see an F at the end of the name, that means it doesn't have integrated graphics. Or if you're buying an older AMD, so like 5000 series and older, if it doesn't have a G at the end, it does not have integrated graphics. Opinions on the Battlemage GPUs? They're great GPUs for their price point. Like honestly, they are really, really solid for their price. I think Intel made a good decision on knowing where to try to get into the GPU market. And they've got some better drivers that are now more capable with some of the older CPUs. So, and more budget-friendly CPUs. So I think they're a solid option if you want new generation technology, but you don't have a bunch of money to throw at your system. AMD doesn't have an i5. Chris, if you just go open up your system information app in Windows, it'll tell you exactly what like motherboard brand, how much RAM you have, what CPU you have, all that good stuff. Okay, there's that. Okay, got our thermal paste on there. Yo, what up, Chief? How we doing? Take the plastic off, chat. I know my recent TikTok says you should leave it on and keep it clean, but that was a joke. Okay. That was a joke. Your CPU doesn't support Windows 11? I think it's more likely your motherboard doesn't support Windows 11, but... yeah. Significantly older systems are not going to be supported by Windows 11, unfortunately. I think they've eliminated some of the requirements that they originally had for Windows 11, but if your system's really old, it still might not work. What brand screwdriver you use? Linus Tech Tips. LTTstore.com. Not a sponsor. The new drivers fix compatibility for the older CPUs. Would a 5600 and a B580 be a solid little $700 bill? Yeah, totally. Is it weird that I kind of feel off having such a good PC compared to your last one? Part of you misses the random stutters. That's a little wild. It's a little wild, not gonna lie. What can you tell me about TPM 2.0 or whatever it is that's security for Windows? Not much, to be honest. I don't really know much about it. I just know that it exists and that you have to have it for some of the security features for Windows. Okay. Let's move on to this part. Come on. Wow. It was a little stiff. Yeah, it's a great screwdriver, to be honest. I really like it. Somehow my keyboard messed that up, typed that out differently. All right. Okay, so now we can take this guy, stick her in here. Okay. Think I should stick around here for all of your streams? Yes, you should. It would be cool if I was well recognized here someday in the future. I mean, I would love to have you in here all the time. No question about that. I'd love to have all of you guys in here all the time. I actually have a good question. Is it safe to mount a CPU cooler vertically in the front of the PC? Yes. The key thing is you want the top of the radiator to be above where the CPU cooler block is, because typically the pump is in the CPU cooler block. And you want all the air to get trapped in the radiator, not in the pump, because it's bad for the pump. Ideally, if you can, you would put the tubes on the bottom of the radiator if you mount it, like if you were say to like mount it here. But I know on a lot of AIOs, so it's just like the tubes aren't long enough to do that, and it would get in the way of your graphics card. But if you can, that is ideal if there's not room to put the radiator on top. 5070 Ti or the 9070 XT? Personally, I'd go 9070 XT. It's shown to be slightly better in a lot of games than the 5070 Ti, and I'm an AMD fan, so. Type in exclamation point specs, killer boy. It's a nice little workstation system. I have to go, but I'll definitely subscribe. Hey, appreciate that. That is in there. Let's throw all of our extra bolts back in here. Yeah, specs, but I don't know why I take it out. Just habits. Hey, what? All right. Switch you guys over. I'll stand this baby up. In my country, the 70XT is way more expensive. Oh, really? Here you can get them for basically the same price. I mean, if it's way more expensive for the 9070 XT, then the 5070 Ti is probably a better choice. Windows 11. Windows 10 is no longer being supported. Security feature-wise, 11 is better. Gaming-wise, 11 is better. Yeah, I don't see a good reason to rock Windows 10 anymore unless you just can't install Windows 11 on your machine. Okay. Let's cable manage this stuff up before we move on. So that guy's gonna go right there. This RGB cable is not gonna get used. This fan is going to go over to the same spot. Let's flip those around. Okay, these fans are installed. All of our front panel stuff connected in. But 11 is buggy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I would not use Windows 10. Security-wise, updates-wise, compatibility-wise, it just doesn't make sense to use Windows 10 when, like, they've officially stopped support for Windows 10. Okay. All right. Let's get our USBs going. Okay, got that. Let's get our HD audio in here. Okay, all right. Throw some cable or zip ties in there. So I throw one on the floor. Okay. Recently just started upgrading my PCs. I got a job in right now my PC's got a 14400F, GeForce RTX 3060 dual for decent gameplay. Nice. It's a solid system. Okay. Got that. Let's get this stuff tightened down. Okay, got that. All right, that's looking pretty good. We're gonna do the same thing. I think we can do the same thing we did over here. Where we disconnect this RGB header because we're not using the RGB in here. This customer doesn't want RGB. Oh, I just disconnected that whole thing. Fine. Okay, so there's all that. Okay, let's get our power supply going. I think they've shown that Windows 11 is better for gaming too, so especially if you have a newer Intel CPU, like anything 12th gen and newer with the E-cores. Do my first ever PC build. Do you have any tips? Think about building over a few days, double check everything. I would go through and like find a build. So I build all my PCs live, right? So I would go through and see if you can find a build that looks similar to yours. And that can give you a good walkthrough on how to put yours together, just to make sure you get everything where it belongs, you know? Newer isn't always better. I mean, when it comes to software, it's usually a bad idea to be running old software all the time. Yo, Mr. Rainbow coming in with 18 months as a tier 3 member. Appreciate you, dude. Not too late, am I? No, we're building 3 PCs tonight, 3 little workstation systems, so we're gonna be here for a minute. Oh, with the 3600 and 2060 Super, nice. I mean, NASA might use outdated PCs, but like I'm sure they're running very different sort of stuff. Like they're not having to work with, you know, a bunch of components that have to stay compatible with newer software and stuff. A lot of them are probably not even on the internet for safety reasons at times. It's not really a apples to apples comparison, you know? And gaming is much different than, say, working on designs. As someone who has done a lot of both, you can easily design stuff with older hardware, but gaming on, or older software and stuff, but trying to game on it, you're probably gonna have some problems. All right, got that through there. What up? How we doing, Alicia? Did some research, make sure it supports Windows 7 or Windows 11 as well as the games you play. Nice. Yeah, that's important. That's important. Yeah, we're doing a lot, Mr. Rainbow. Got a lot to do tonight. But it's okay, because we're already well over halfway done, because this system is already not too far away from being done. This is PC number 2 for the night. got all that in there. Actually, I'm gonna do that guy as well. And like I was saying earlier, we're not using any of the RGB, so I'm disconnecting some of these RGB cables just so that we can make the cable management nice and clean. Okay, let's do motherboard power. Can I have a free PC? No. At the moment, I got a good power supply, but for people that are new to building, can you please give advice for picking a power supply? There's a power supply tier list. I would look at that. So there's a PSU tier list. I can't remember the exact name of the website, but that's the best place to go to pick a power supply, because it'll tell you like brand and model, which ones are good and which ones are not so good. You know, key things to look at, like you want to make sure you're getting 80 plus gold at least, if not platinum or titanium for like really high-end builds. You know, make sure you have all the connectors you need. So like if you have a newer Nvidia GPU, you need to have that 12 VH power connector built into it. Yeah. Yeah, that PSU tier list is definitely the best resource you can have for trying to understand what a good power supply is and what isn't. Okay. Okay. Stick that all the way up there. Have to go. Hit the like button. Have a good day. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I think for the case, I'll go with the Lee V2 Mini. You brought 9X fan. Oh, nice. That'll look good. Corsair 850. That's a solid one. Corsair generally makes pretty solid stuff. Okay, let's get our power cable in here. Again, super tight corner. I think they should have designed that a little bit better. Maybe it's just the power supply direction, like I said earlier. Okay, got that in there. All right, So, just need to clean up some cable management a little bit, and then number 2 is almost done. Okay. What up, Roshan? All right, there we go. Take a quick look at the front. I think we need to pull those a little tighter. Oops. That's better. Okay. Ryzen 5 3600. Yeah, it's a solid CPU. AM4, you have an M4 Max 48 gigabytes. Show myself out. Yeah, we don't deal in Max here, sorry. It's funny. On the cases, very odd place to put a cable connector up on top there. Yeah, it's a little funky. I wish they would have shifted this whole bit a little to the right or something, because that's a really tight fit right there. Thankfully, it's just a power cable. All right, fine, I'll pull that off. That sticker wasn't going to stay on, so. There we go. PC number 2, done. Can you guys believe I charged $5,000 for each of these builds? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. On to build number 3. GPU I went with was the ROG Strix 2060 Super. It has a button on it. What is the button for? I mean, that's not typical, but ROG Strix, you know, they sometimes do some cool stuff. All right, let me get case number 3 out of the box, and we'll start on the 3rd build. How long are we? An hour 20. We're moving, you guys. We are moving and grooving. Putting in the work right now. This is what happens when you get paid by the build and not by the hour. Oh, for the LEDs? Oh, interesting. I mean, definitely not typical, but like I said, on some of their ROG Strix, they have some pretty cool and interesting features, so could just be something they threw on that generation and then haven't done again since. All right, got my 3rd case out of the box, and we're ready to roll. You know, you should just build one computer, then use a copy machine. Ha ha ha. If only. Turn off and the lights on the GPU turn off. That's cool. It's definitely not normal. Like most GPUs don't have that. My recycling bin is overflowing at this point. Normally only do one build at a time. Wasn't prepared. On to build number 3, folks. This is the Intel Core Ultra 5 225. Very budget friendly, perfect for a little workstation that's, you know, not doing anything more difficult than like web browsing and probably QuickBooks and maybe a, you know, some in-house programs that they use. The guy I sold them to, he said he's basically just sick of using crappy Dell computers that keep having problems, so pretty excited to get to do this. Any reason a newer motherboard would not have Wi-Fi? Because it's cheap. There's still cheap, like very budget-friendly motherboard options out there that don't have built-in Wi-Fi. That's awesome, Ara. Yeah, the 2060 can still put in some work even in 2025. Thank you for your help there, Sakuriba Ushu. You're welcome. Boom. Another 1 terabyte going in. It's kind of weird doing the same build multiple times. I like it. COD said it didn't meet the requirement, but still lets you play the beta. Yeah, it's probably a COD issue. Is your Ryzen 5 3600 going to be good for Windows 11 gaming? I mean, it's getting pretty old at this point. No matter what Windows you're on, but it should be perfectly fine for gaming. It depends on as long as your motherboard supports Windows 11. Okay, I got my RAM out prematurely. What I really wanted was this. Yes, it is. You want? I would not suggest getting larger than 2 terabytes for your Windows drive, and then you could have a second drive to put all of your games and data and all that sort of stuff on. That's definitely the preferred way. Is not store as little as possible besides like Windows and stuff that's easily recoverable on the primary drive, and then put everything else on a secondary drive. Obviously that is not accessible for everyone because it costs money for more drives, but if you can do it, do it. Who do you recommend for computer optimizations? I have sent or had a couple of people go over to FPS Hub on Twitter. They're FPS Hub official, and had pretty good experiences. So you could try reaching out to them. I don't work with them. I don't get any sort of sponsorship stuff. I don't know them personally. Well, I guess I kind of do. I know Kips, but I've never seen them work. So, exercise your own caution when you're having somebody in your system fiddling around with stuff. But I've heard good things about them. So. I mean, do you have everything else up to date, like your motherboard drivers and all that good stuff? $2 hours for $140? Did you mean like 2 terabytes for $140? Or 140 pounds? I mean, like your chipset driver and stuff is not done through like the Windows Update tool. You have to do that separately. configuration for PC would be 1 2 terabyte Gen 5, 1 4 terabyte Gen 4 for gaming and other stuff. Nice. Should I have gone with this 9800X 3D 5070 or 14700F 5070 Ti for 3D modeling, sculpting, rendering? That's a good question. I don't know is probably the right answer. I would say probably the second one. Having the extra cores and the better GPU capability will probably do better, but I don't really know for sure. Could the chipset be causing your system lag? Potentially, if it's really out of date or never been installed. Yeah, disabling startup applications will help as well. Maybe run Windows 11 debloater. When I have multiple apps open, everything lags bad, and I have decent setup with the 5800X. Then probably not. I don't know what to look for when it comes to that stuff. No, it's not just in settings. It depends on what brand of motherboard you have. Like MSI and ASUS. So like ASUS, you have to use the ASUS driver hub. MSI, you can update it through MSI Center. Gigabyte, I think you can update it through the Gigabyte Control Center. ASRock, you need to just download it straight from the website typically and then install it. It is an LTT screwdriver. All right, here we go. Last build's coming together. Let's get that case up here. No, chipset does not get updated when you update Windows. Wait, you got yourself a transparent? They have a transparent model now? Oh, that's cool. I really want the like the one that's like retro color, so it's like the really light kind of pastel purplish and then like a darker purple at the bottom. But again, I already have one, so I probably don't need to buy another one. Those all look nice and lined up. Well, crap, that's probably it. Could be. Could be. Can you guys believe we're already on the third build? It's only been an hour and a half. Like I was saying, Chris, to the other guy, it just depends. It depends on what motherboard you have. What motherboard brand do you have more specifically? Hard drive failures. Are you running like an actual spinning disk hard drive or like a SATA SSD? You build PCs from the ashes of other PCs? Yeah, but is it a SATA SSD or is it a or is it an NVMe like M.2? All right, that's all in there. Last time we got to switch screens today, ladies and gents. SATA. I mean, that could be part of it too. Like, you're running pretty old hardware, and SATA SSDs are not that fast. So, like, it could bog down and take a while. If you can get like a 256 or 128 M.2, that thing would probably run a lot faster. Okay. Last time, folks. Can you guys believe we built 3 PCs tonight? Can you believe it? Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Okay, some of you guys might not get that reference, but it's okay. If you don't get that reference, go watch the movie Miracle tonight, because it's incredible. It's about the U.S. Olympic team, hockey team, trying to win against the supposedly vastly superior Russian Olympic team back in like 1980 or 76. Can't remember exactly what year it is. Yeah, the M.2s are the ones that mount directly to the motherboard. I hope that didn't work. I was trying to just get that out of the way for now, but... Okay. HD audio. Okay. Let's get some zip ties going. Use tough. It's pretty solid. They have pretty good price to performance on their motherboards. Yeah, you should. And honestly, then put all of your games on your SATA SSD if you get a really small M.2, because that'll help the game load faster too. Okay, that's all plugged in. Get our power cables out here. Well, we all got to learn at some point, right? I didn't know much about PCs, 6 years ago, so. I started building in late 2020. Definitely no shame in it. What's the most affordable for simple games like Roblox? I mean, I think those kind of games you could probably play on integrated graphics. Just get like an 8600G or something. Stuck in the days of PCI 3. Dang. Next year we'll probably see PCI 6, possibly. The problem right now is just like the limited bandwidth, right? So like your CPU only has so many lanes, and that's why we started to see some of these motherboards have like limitations on what M.2s you can use. Otherwise, you limit lanes on the GPU. So if they go to PCI 6, that's probably going to start getting even worse. How do I find the limit on my M.2 port? Oh, you mean like size-wise? That I don't know. I don't know if they really... I don't think they broadcast those at all. I mean, you should be fine with up to like an 8 terabyte on it. I mean, I throw 1 terabytes in all my systems. I don't put anything smaller than a 1 terabyte in them. because price-wise, it doesn't really make much sense to go smaller than that these days. Like, it's not that much cheaper. It's definitely not like 50% cheaper to get a 512. That's for sure. Okay, let's get our motherboard power in here. All right, got that. Okay, it's really nice that it holds itself in. I don't know if that was an intended feature, but it's pretty great. Couldn't let the beautiful piece of tech go to the dump. Cups of Joe, any tips on building a good tech workbench? Anything you learned from building your setup? You mean just like are you making content with it, or like, what are you trying to do with your workbench? You can type the name of the motherboard. Okay. Got that. Kingston Fury RAM. I've heard good things about them. I haven't used them really. But I know some builders that use them. It seems like they're pretty solid. I typically use like Team Group, or Patriot Viper has some really good DDR5 options right now. So I'm using them a lot. Okay. Sure everything looks pretty tight up front. Looks pretty good. Okay, clip that one zip tie that I missed. And there we go. This PC is ready to rock. We'll fire this one up. It's not gonna be very exciting because there's no RGB, but you know, we can at least prove that we did actually build some PCs today. Didn't just throw some parts together. Boom! 3 PCs in under 2 hours. How about that, chat? How about that? 3 PCs, less than 2 hours. And 1 bottle of water. Who's ready to see this baby power on? Show me your favorite emoji if you want to see this thing get powered on right before your very eyes for the first time. Was the cheapest brand I know is decent that I could find RGB RAM from? Yeah, Kingston Fury will do fine. More so a spot I can work on builds separate from my work/gaming setup. I do a bunch of repairs on PCs and network hardware. So first I would get yourself some like nice lighting from like multiple sides. I have like, these ones were pretty cheap. It was like a set of 2 on Amazon. And they come with like a stand. You could also like get like an arm, like anything that could hold like a camera input kind of thing, like a 1/4 inch. And you can put those on it. If you're not like filming and stuff, having like a pegboard sort of thing that you can put storage and other like your tools and stuff on would be super nice. A sit stand is really nice, being able to like adjust the height based on what you're working on. Super critical. And then I've got storage like in the desk itself, which is pretty nice. A fatigue mat if you're standing a lot. Yeah, those are the things I can think of. Yeah. Cool. All right. Makes me upset. Takes me 3 hours to do one. Well, when you've built nearly 300 PCs, it goes by a little quicker. Also, these were super easy builds. I mean, normally it takes me an hour and a half or so to build a PC while chatting with you guys. So, all right. So as a reminder, we've got the Intel Core Ultra 225, the Core Ultra 5 225. We've got a Thermalright Assassin 120 in black. We've got 16 gigs of CL36 6000 RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, the ASRock Pro B860M Wi-Fi motherboard, 650 watt power supply, and then we've got the Fantex XTM3, which comes with 3 pre-installed RGB fans. So for like $80, it's a nice little case. And Fantex always does a good job. They always do pretty good quality. So I'm pretty happy with these little builds. They're a little bit bigger than they necessarily have to be for like a workstation system, but These things are going to work for a long time. And they're going to work well. All right, first ever power on. Here it is. Dig the Lazy Susan idea. Didn't think about it. My mod Richard actually is the one that told me I should get one, and I'm really glad he did. Where to buy Windows activation keys? CJS CD key is a good spot. All right, it posted to the point where it can. There's nothing plugged into it. Like you have to have a monitor hooked up and like mouse and keyboard hooked up for it to like fully post. But it did post, so we did it. We did it. All right, y'all. Whew, that's it for tonight. That was a lot of building. I still have more work to do. So we're going to call it here. Appreciate you guys for hanging out and chatting and watching me build 3 PCs in a row. It's pretty uncommon. I think the most we've done at once is 2. So yeah, appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you all on the next one. I don't know when that's going to be. We don't have any more builds lined up for this week, so we're going to be working on some offline content. But yeah, have a good night. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, 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 bye. Take care. Bye.